I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about my ex found someone else. Well, if you've ever gone through a breakup, there's a good chance your ex started dating somebody else. And oftentimes, they did this right away. And when this happens, it can be even more anxiety-provoking and scary to deal with, because it's bad enough you feel like you've lost this person for good, and it makes it even worse when you feel like they're going to somebody else and they've moved on for good. And I know, because this happened to me, and it's happened to me more than once, and I could tell you that it is absolutely the worst feeling in the world. You don't know, in many cases, who this person is, guy or girl, whoever, and it just creates this tremendous fear in us where we catastrophize things, right? We take something, and based on whatever our biggest fears are, we kind of blow it out of proportion, that this person is amazing and perfect, and that they're going to get married and they'll never think about you again or care about you again. Well, in most cases, that new relationship will fall apart. It's likely a rebound. Obviously, it's a case situation. I mean, every situation is completely different, but I do see a lot of rebounds, and they oftentimes don't last long. And we feel like that's it, this new person is better than us. Obviously, you know, we all have our insecurities, and when we have attachment injuries and attachment trauma, we catastrophize more than somebody that has a secure attachment style. So if you've had a lot of abandonment, neglect, and you were ignored or unseen or unloved in your childhood, you're going to be a lot more likely to catastrophize the new relationship, and meaning that you feel like it's the end of the world, or there's no chance, there's no hope. And, you know, sometimes I'll see comments like, that's it, they found someone else and they're never coming back, and this and that. Well, guys, do a coaching with me. Let me tell you something. You're going to feel so much better talking with me about your situation. I deal with people around the world every single day, and I see these situations and how they play out. Come talk to me. Stop going crazy. Stop driving yourself nuts. Let me assess the situation with you, and you'll feel so much better talking with me about it. I promise you. That is why I do this, guys, because I really want to help you guys. Obviously, I'm limited. There's only one of me, and there's many, many, many thousands of you guys out there. And so I do my best to help as many of you as I can. That's why I'm always putting out new material for you guys. But I know how scary it is. And the thought of your ex dating somebody else is the worst feeling in the world, because you just think that this new person is better, they're going to love you more, they're going to forget all about you, and you start to have all kinds of fears just overwhelm you. I have been there, believe me. That has happened to me, and I lived it, and I know how tough it can be. So let me tell you something. It's not as bad as it feels, or as bad as it looks, because more likely than not, that relationship is going to end. But obviously, tell me what's going on so I can help you navigate better. I promise you, I've been experienced, and I've lived this experience, and I can tell you that with my situation, at least the two that I can think of off the top of my head, the person that they went for right after me, that relationship didn't last. So I've got two really good emails today. The first one is somebody that just came across the channel, and she just wanted to give some feedback for me. So she said, "Hi Craig, first of all, thanks so much for your videos and all the information and insight you put into your channel to help the blind souls of us. I recently went through a breakup after having a relationship for roughly less than a year, where I started panicking and feeling trapped once I moved in with my then boyfriend and then broke up with him to get rid of that horrible feeling of being trapped. I have to admit, being 31 years old, my longest relationship was in my teens, which lasted 3.5 years. But that was more of a deep friendship than a romantic one. Since then, I have never made it longer than half a year, except with this guy. Because at some points, my feelings always overwhelmed me and made me lash out or behave totally inappropriate. I guess I never learned how to work things out and own a situation, handle the pain. We are now separated for around 4 months. I still hope to get back with him and try to work on myself in the meantime. So I bought dozens of books right after I left, watched all the relationship coaches on YouTube, which seem more like pickup artists, to be honest. She put a little winky face. Well, that's because most of them are. What constitutes a relationship coach? What are these people, what is their background that they can just say, I'm a relationship coach, okay? Anybody could start a YouTube channel and say they're a relationship coach. Believe me, I get funny emails all the time that I don't talk about on here about people laughing about different relationship coaches. Somebody was telling me about a guy that doesn't wear a shirt in his videos. I don't know who that is. I don't care who it is. Whatever, you want to be shirtless, have at it. But to me that seems pretty unprofessional. I'm not going to go into anybody else because I really don't care what they're putting out there. I work hard to figure this stuff out for you guys, but think long and hard on who you go to when you're getting your help, because I don't like seeing people taken advantage of, and I don't like seeing people sold magic beans. If you follow this text your ex back program, they're sure to come back with you. No, that's not how it works. And they're playing on your desperation. They know that. And you could see it all over their videos a million times. You're going to lose her forever. You're going to lose her forever. Come on, man. I don't like that. And that is why I do the things the way that I do. And I bring Margaret on here with me, somebody with almost 40 years worth of experience who's absolutely unbelievable, to help teach you guys so much more than a no contact rule, right? I sit here and try and help you understand mental health and how it directly correlates to relationships. Because if somebody's lacking in mental health, that goes for you too, because let's face it, we all have a lot of blind spots. You're not going to be able to make a relationship work, and you need skills to do it. I'm sorry to get off on a tangent, but I just don't like seeing people taken advantage of, and quite frankly, I know it happens a lot. And I'm trying to work on a book. I know you guys have been asking for a book. A lot of people ask me when I'm going to get a book or when I'm Skyping. I'm working on it. It's overwhelming, okay? It's a lot of work, and I have high expectations on myself to make sure that I put a lot of great content in there, and I simply just don't have a lot of time to work on it. But I'm trying, guys, okay? So, boy, I'm off on tangents today. I apologize for that. Let me get back to this email. She had a really sweet email, so I wanted to share it. I had just that subtle feeling that something is wrong, and there is something I have to figure out, really have to work on. I didn't really get it. Well, no contact to get with him, okay, but why? Until I found your channel. I'm so happy since you help me really understand what is going on in my brain and what's happening with him. You help me get the root cause of it. Not only have my ex and I started to reconnect a little, I also feel I am starting to actually prepare myself well for the next relationship that will come, whoever that may be. Thank you so much. Keep it up. Best wishes. So it sounds like her and her ex are starting to reconnect a little bit here. She said, not only that, but my ex and I have started to reconnect a little. So maybe you're starting to see the errors that you made in the relationship, and you're slowly, subtly being able to correct them internally, so you can either reattract him or you can find somebody else, if that may be what's in your cards. But I'm so happy that the videos are helping, and it's great to hear from you guys. I really do love hearing from you guys. Anytime you want to share a success story, just go to my website, askcraig.net, and my email is on there. I love to read success stories, and I share them when I can. Obviously, I'm limited in how many I can share, but send me one. Whether it be you got an ex back or you've learned something about yourself that you want to share with other people. I love to help you guys. And when other people are going through this, it's nice to see that people are having successes. And they start to feel good their chances when they see that other people are having success. Okay? So share them with me, okay, guys? I got a second email here from a woman that's in her mid-30s, and she's dating a guy that's slightly older. Now, they dated for roughly a year and a half. He said, or she said, that his sister was her boss, okay? And she wanted to set them up while he was going through a divorce several years ago. This is quite a few years ago. She introduced us at the end of 2015. So, she says that they are long distance, but they would stay each other for days on end, about twice a month. They were never engaged or married, and she was sharing a little bit about his family. She says that he was raised in a loving Catholic home where his parents were never divorced. His mother suffers from anxiety, so she would often need downtime. Okay, so think about it. If you grow up in a home where your mom has a lot of anxiety, chances are you're going to absorb that anxiety. As a child, you're going to feel like you're in danger because your mom is acting as if she's in danger. Think about it. This is on an unconscious level. Even, small infants can pick up if their mother is distressed and she's anxious. Think about 100,000 years ago. If your mom is in the woods and she's holding you, you're an infant, and there's a saber-toothed tiger coming around once a week that they're constantly scared of. As a baby, as an infant, you're gonna see that something's going on. You're scared, and that's gonna traumatize you. Okay? Remember, trauma. Once we have that trauma, it stays within us, and unless you resolve it, years later, it will come out. Okay? And then when it does, remember, we can't tell the difference between the past and the present with a trauma. So, if your mom had anxiety all the time, you would have anxiety and you wouldn't even understand it. It would just be almost like etched into the fiber of your being. Okay? Now, I'm sure if I had a neuropsychologist on there, they could explain that, but I'm kind of dumbing it down. But as I heard somebody who I really respect say, neurons that fire together, wire together, it's along those same lines, okay? So, a little bit more about the guy's background. His father would take him out and his sister out. Now, his father passed away a couple years ago, and the entire family has struggled since with that death. And believe me, when you lose a parent, it does not go away. It's really bizarre. I don't know if I know many of you have lost your parents, but if you haven't, I can tell you that when they do pass away, when their birthday comes up, it's going to really affect you. If around the anniversary of when they passed away, it's going to affect you. Those things stay with you. I can tell you, when my mom's birthday comes up, I think about it. I think about her. It brings up a lot of feelings and things like that. And when the anniversary when she passed away comes up, that really affects me for a while on a level that, you really have to be conscious and aware of because it's there and it's in your body. And a lot of things will start to come out and you'll be affected by it. And if you're not aware of what's going on in you internally, it's going to come out in ways that you might not expect. Maybe you'll be irritable, lashing out, depressed, and you're not even sure why. A lot of people will repress that or suppress that. Okay? Okay. So, he drove up to break up with me in person. I broke down in tears, begged him to reconsider. At the time, my period was 3 days late. Yeesh. So you were getting anxious about that. But I mean, 3 days really isn't that long, right? But I didn't tell him. I ended up telling him about a week and a half later. I got a positive home test, which I didn't tell him right away. I dragged my feet on going to the doctor because I couldn't handle anything with the pain of the breakup. I finally went and found out that I wasn't pregnant. My hormones were just out of whack. Well, I don't know anything about that. I guess you could have a false pregnancy, huh? Interesting. When we broke up, he said we would talk in 2 months and see where our hearts were. Because of the pregnancy scare, he said I lied to him and used the situation to manipulate him and do this so he wouldn't consider, I think she meant to say she would consider getting back together. She said wouldn't. Yeah, I actually knew somebody that would do this. I had a friend, well, I'll use that term loosely, as I thought they were my friend, but they were very deceitful and basically a pathological liar. She would fake being pregnant to keep a guy around when he was going to break up with her. So, yeah, there are a lot of people that do that. During this time, I ended up calling him, emailing him a lot, trying to talk about what to do. Come to find out that the week before the breakup, when his attitudes towards me had changed, he was on a business trip and met a woman. Okay, all of a sudden we have a giant piece of the puzzle here, don't we? He went on a business trip, met another woman. It must have went well enough where he thought, great, I have my new pair of shoes. Remember what I tell you guys, a man doesn't throw away his only pair of shoes. That goes for women. Women do this too. It's just a saying. But not everybody does this, but a lot of people do that. And they move on to somebody else very quickly. This woman lived about half an hour from me and 8 hours from him. She too is divorced and has 2 kids. So in my emails, I did talk about how I was a better option than her. Guys, don't do that. Okay? If you have to go on and tell somebody about how you're a better option, does it really make you look like you're a better option if you're trying to sell yourself? Think about it. His emails got dismissive and angry. Now, of course, now you're dissing on this new girl that he's got a crush on, right? Our final communication were me sending him a list of many things that were at his house. He said he would get them to me when he comes up at the end of August to see her. Ooh, that would really hurt. Oh man, I'm sorry, that would be brutal. That's the last thing you want to hear. But he refuses to see or talk to me. He wants me to rent a storage unit to put the things in and mail him a key. Well, that tells me he really doesn't want to see you. I mean, if he's going out of his way to tell you to get a storage unit so he doesn't have to see you in person, yeah, that is not good. He is really angry at you. He must really think you lied about that pregnancy. I emailed him back and thanked him for our time together. I wouldn't have done that. That I had learned a lot from this relationship, but I was going to start moving on, and thank you for getting me my things when he comes up. He never replied. Oftentimes, other coaches will suggest writing a handwritten letter, and this is very often the response I get. They don't reply. Okay. This was in the end of July. His attitude has changed since he met her. They started dating in the beginning of July, and 2 weeks later talked about engagement rings. Okay, think about this for a minute. He met this girl on the first week of July. 2 weeks later, he's looking or talking to her about engagement rings? What does that tell you? Hopefully, you're not anxious enough to be going, that they're going to get married. No, that this is a complete fantasy. Okay? 2 weeks later, and you want to marry somebody, you are essentially marrying a stranger. Give me a break. The chances of that lasting are slim to none. 2 weeks later. And what kind of value does that show that he has in himself? That he would give himself away to somebody 2 weeks later. Think about it. If you're a catch, don't you want to see who you're getting involved with? Doesn't it show that you are a quality person? And it exhibits behavior like, look, I'm a catch. I'm not going to jump into some relationship that I don't know somebody. It shows like strength and security. Like, wait, it seems insecure, right, to jump into a relationship with somebody you've known for, or talk about marriage for somebody you've known for 2 weeks. You probably don't even know their middle name. Just bizarre. I don't know how she found out, but I would, if I heard that my ex was talking to some guy about getting engaged after 2 weeks, I would be laughing. I'd be laughing about it, and I would be like, oh, okay, good luck. He told the sister at the beginning that he wanted to leave the door open with me, and that he didn't want me to know about the other girl. This is a wonderful man, isn't it? Isn't this a quality guy? Isn't this the kind of guy that you really want to have in your life? He goes on a business trip, meets another woman, then he wants to keep you in the dark about what he's doing, and because he doesn't know how it's going to go with this new girl. So he wants to keep this girl as a backup until it either goes good with this new girl or it falls apart. This guy is a piece of garbage. He's a selfish jerk, and I'm putting it nicely, but this pisses me off because he knows what he's doing. He doesn't care. He's using this girl, and he's in a complete delusion of grandeur over this new girl of 2 weeks that they're looking at engagement rings. Give me a break. Up until the day he met her, we were talking to our travel agent about booking a cruise for next year, as well as travel plans for the summer. So while he was thinking about this since December, I don't think he was. Oh, he says he was thinking about it since December. Maybe he was unhappy for a while, but he's the kind of guy that can't be alone because he's not much of a man. He's extremely insecure. Doesn't treat you very well. He hides things. He's using you. Come on, you don't want a man like this. You want a guy that's got some integrity. When we broke up, he told me that he knew I wanted to get married and have kids, and he didn't want to hold me back from that. Oh, but he wants to marry the new woman of 2 weeks. That's stability. That's what he's looking for. That he knew he loved me, but he wasn't sure he was in love with me. He'll be sure whether or not it depends upon how it goes with this new girl. If it falls apart with her, then he's going to be really sure that he does love you. Lucky you. You deserve better than this. Often in our relationship, he was very close to me. Affectionate, loving, and then he would pull away. I think it was fears from his failed marriage. Well, I'm sure that probably was part of it, but it's more likely rooted in his early childhood because he just isn't very secure, and I would guess severe attachment issues and trauma issues for him to act like this. But he doesn't act with a lot of integrity, and he's not very upfront with you. That we didn't see eye to eye on some things, like I'm a vegetarian, so I don't like food on a grill. He would get upset because he felt like he couldn't cook for me. That I didn't have a bachelor's degree. I finished my associates, and he wanted me to have a higher degree to be able to get a better job. He didn't care that you had an associate's degree when he got with you. That's a BS reason. That we both needed to lose weight. That's more of him subtly implying you need to lose weight. And it together multiple times, he has low self-esteem due to his weight, and it caused him not to want to do things. The new girl is skinny and has a bachelor's degree and works with him at a very good job. Oh, well, she is so lucky to get a wonderful guy like this. It should take her about another week and a half to find somebody better than him. You can see I'm not amused with this situation. I don't have time for people treating other people like this, and I call it like I see it. He wrote me a breakup letter which pretty much screamed that he loves me and told me to listen to love is to blame by king and country. King and country? You should have capitalized that because it says king and country and now I look like I can't read. To know how he feels. I still don't know who King and Country is, but I'm guessing it's a band. I'm sure I'm going to see a bunch of emails or comments below. You don't know who that is? No, I don't. I'm too busy to listen to the radio, to be honest with you. This is a fun fact about how nerdy I am, okay? When I tell you guys that I work my ass off to learn the stuff that I do, I really mean it. Like when I'm driving in the car, I oftentimes listen to lectures by therapists in order to learn even one new thing, one new idea, one new skill, whatever it might be, to better myself to help you guys. That's the kind of like work that I do that you just don't see behind the scenes. So yeah, you can laugh at that. So I don't know who King and Country is. Okay. Alright, here's her question. I love my ex. I honestly feel like he is my soulmate and the person I belong with. Well, I'm sorry that you're hurting so badly. And we've all been in situations like where we feel like somebody is the one for us. But what does he have to say about that? He's not really acting like an adult with this situation. And he's not showing you any skill or ability to have a long-term relationship last. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. I mean, he's looking at engagement rings for somebody after 2 weeks. I had a girl tell me she loved me 4 times on the second date. There was no third date because as sweet and kind as she was, a nice girl, I'm just not going to pursue a relationship with somebody that has those kind of issues going on. It's too overwhelming. Since we broke up, I have been working to lose weight, got a therapist, have been reading self-help books, enrolled in school, and paid off debt. That is amazing. You should be so proud of yourself, and you should do it for you. Okay? Don't do it for this guy. Do it for you because you are bettering your life, and that's all of those things are so positive for you, and I'm really proud of you. Since we have many factors working against us, the other woman, long distance, and how he said he won't give us another chance because of the pregnancy scare. Now see, this is what I'm talking about when I say he's not acting like an adult. He's saying, oh, it's a pregnancy scare, right? I can't give you another chance because of the pregnancy scare. Well, that tells me he doesn't believe you. He thinks that you're lying about that. I don't know if you did or you didn't. Maybe you did. Maybe you said, I mean, I don't know. I simply don't know. But if you didn't, then it's like, well, how could you possibly repair this? He's literally making it impossible. It's like saying, okay, I can't date a girl that blinks. I'm sorry. It drives me crazy that you're blinking like every 5 to 10 seconds. I just can't do it. Of course you're going to blink, okay? And this already happened. In either situation, you can't do anything about it. So it's like sabotaging it. You see what I'm saying? When we first broke up, before he lost his mind over the pregnancy thing, I honestly thought we would get back together at the end of August. Is this fixable? How should I go trying to win him back? Well, I certainly wouldn't be trying to go to win him back because this guy basically cheated on you. If he didn't, he was lining somebody up. He's not acting like an adult. He's living in a complete fantasy world. And I don't think this is a good, healthy relationship in any way, shape, or form for you. And I really don't think it is fixable because he has got a lot of issues that he's not working on. And, I mean, sure, it probably isn't going to last with this girl that he's wanting to look at engagement rings after 2 weeks. of course, the chances of that lasting are very, very slim. But he probably will come back around again when that either falls apart or starts to fall apart or has fallen apart. He'll probably come back around again. But do you really want a guy like this? I mean, is this the kind of man you can trust? I don't think so. If he wants to come back, you need to make him work really hard to get you back. I'm talking he's got to fight for you. He's got to show you with his actions. Forget his words. His words are nonsense. I don't believe his words, okay? You look at his actions. Ladies, and that is a big thing. Always look at, and guys too, look at somebody's actions. They're going to tell you a lot more than what their words say, okay? His words can be, you're the most amazing woman in the world, or amazing guy in the world, whatever, and then they're cheating on you every other week. I love you and I want to be with you forever. And they're constantly texting other people behind your back. No, you need to look at his actions. And if he does come back, you're going to have to make him really show you he can act like an adult and do a healthy long-term relationship, because that's ultimately what you're wanting here, right? I mean, you want something with substance and long-lasting, and when somebody exhibits these kind of behaviors, and if they continue to do it, of course he could change, but if they continue to do it, it's simply not going to work, and no magic trick is going to make somebody want to stay in a healthy relationship or do it unless they're ready to commit to it and doing it. I know, there was a lot in this video, and I got off some tangents. I apologize for that, but sometimes I just got to get it out and say those things that are really bugging me, and when I see people being mistreated, I really don't like that, and this guy just wasn't a good boyfriend to you in a lot of ways, and he didn't communicate. If he was unhappy since December, shouldn't he have communicated with you during that 6-month period? Right? If you get back with him, what's to say that you won't get back with him and then 6 months later he does this again and you didn't know there was a problem because he didn't communicate with you or act like an adult. So, if you want to get my help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype coaching. And if you need to get me right away, I do offer the after hours emergency coaching. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth and I will talk with you soon.